Welcome to Beyond the Books podcast. I'm your host, Susan Stotterell. Today, I'll be talking about storytelling versus reading aloud for literacy development. Storytelling and reading aloud have unique merits, but they offer distinct experiences. Storytelling at home and in the classroom builds vocabulary and comprehension. Exposure to different stories allows children to enhance their vocabulary by encountering new words, phrases, and expressions. As they listen to stories, children learn to comprehend context, infer meanings, and make connections between words and their real-world applications. Research shows that storytelling improves the child's developing language and literacy skills. They learn vocabulary by being exposed to the varied language used in stories. Listening enhances fluency in their spoken language by observing different ways to say something. Understanding the structure and content of stories contributes to overall comprehension skills. An emotional connection is made between the storyteller and the listeners. It activates the emotional circuits of the child's brain. The live interaction between storytellers and students fosters a sense of wonder, curiosity, and emotional investment in the narrative. With the added emotional connections, children are more engaged and remember the information better. Storytelling allows the imagination to flourish by allowing the listener to visualize scenes, characters, and settings more vividly. The live performance aspects add an extra layer of excitement and connection. The Frog Prince by the Grimm brothers. Read. In olden times, when if you made a wish, it would always come true, where lived a king whose daughters were all beautiful, but the youngest was so beautiful that the sun itself, which has seen so much, was astonished when it shone in her face. Close by the king's castle lay a great dark forest, and under an old lime tree in the forest was a well. When the day was very warm, the king's child went out into the forest and sat down by the side of the cool fountain. And when she was dull, she took a golden ball and threw it up on high and caught it. And this ball was her favorite plaything. Now it so happened that on one occasion the princess's golden ball did not fall into the little hand which she was holding up for it, but onto the ground beyond and rolled straight into the water. The king's daughter followed it with her eyes, but it vanished, and the well was deep, so deep that the bottom could not be seen. On this she began to cry, and cried louder and louder, and could not be comforted. As she was complaining, someone said to her, "What troubles you, king's daughter? You weep so that even a stone would show pity." She looked around to the side from whence the voice came, and saw a frog stretching forth its thick, ugly head from the water. "Ah, old water splasher, is it you?" said she. "I'm weeping for my golden ball, which has fallen into the well." "Be quiet and do not weep," answered the frog. "I can help thee, but what wilt you give me if I bring the plaything up again?" "Whatever you will have, dear frog," she said, "my clothes, my pearls and jewels, and even the golden crown which I am wearing." The frog answered, "I do not care for thy clothes, thy pearls and jewels, or thy crown. But if you will love me and let me be thy companion and playfellow, and sit by thee at thy little table, and eat off thy little golden plate, and drink out of the little cup, and sleep in the little bed, if thou wilt promise me this, I will go down below and bring thee thy golden ball up again." "Oh, yes," she said, "I promise thee all you wish, if you will bring me back my ball again." She, however, thought, "How the silly frog does talk. He lives in the water with other frogs and croaks, and can be no companion to any human being." But the frog, when he had received this promise, put his head into the water and sank down, and in a short while came swimming up again with the ball in his mouth and threw it on the grass. The king's daughter was delighted to see her pretty plaything once more, picked it up and ran away with it. "Wait, wait," said the frog, "take me with thee. I can't run as thou canst." But what did it avail him to scream his croak, croak after her as loud as he could? She did not listen to it, but ran home and soon forgot the poor frog, who was forced to go back into his well again. And now hear the Frog Prince as storytelling. "Well, kids, I have a story to tell you about a frog prince. Do any of you think you might know what it is? I'll tell you. A handsome prince was turned into a frog by a very bad person. This is set in olden times, long, long ago. Just think of a prince as the most handsome movie star you've ever seen. I mean, How many of us have met a prince? But we can all watch TV and go to the movies. Anyway, there was a very rich man whose youngest daughter was extraordinarily beautiful. When she walked into a room, all the heads turned and glowed like the sun. Next to her father's house, there was a private dark forest full of all sorts of things. The rich man's daughter decided to play in the forest with her most prized possession. It was a golden ball, and she would toss it up in the air and catch it. But this time she missed the ball and it rolled into the water. Yikes! What could she do? She couldn't go get it. So she sat and cried, thinking she would never be happy again without that golden ball. Luckily, there was a very ugly frog sitting on a rock, and he said, "What troubles you so much? If you don't stop crying so hard and so loud, everyone is going to pity you, even the rocks upon which you sit." The beautiful young girl said, "I've lost my favorite toy, and I can't go into the water and get it back." "But I can. After all, I live by this pool, and I can go into the water. But what will you give me?" "Anything I have on right now, my jewelry, my little golden purse, my designer shoes, you name it." Bullfrog answered, "All I want to do is spend time with you so we can talk and get to know each other. If you promise me this, I'll go get the ball and bring it to you." And that's exactly what he did after she promised to talk to him and get to know him. When Mr. Bullfrog came back with the ball and tossed it to her with his two front legs, the pretty girl was so happy to have the toy back again that she just picked it up and went home, leaving poor Mr. Bullfrog. "Wait, where are you going?" he croaked. She paid him no mind and ran off back home. The next time she needs his help, don't you think he would think twice about helping her when she's treated him so badly? Reading from a book has its merits, but storytelling offers a magical experience. It allows children to immerse themselves in the music of words, connect with others, and ignites their imagination.